Hey guys, Churchy here. So over the weekend, I've had the chance to dive into the Diablo 2 Resurrected Open Beta. I've had a lot of fun with it. There's some good and bad, which I want to talk about in this video. But this is just going to be a little bit of a recap, a little bit of a review of my experiences with the Open Beta. So let's get into it. So starting with the good, the quality of life changes are great. I love just being able to easily look at my advanced stats, with all things like faster cast rate, hit recovery, all of that goodness. And the shared stash has been a lot of fun. It's been really good just being able to gather up items and then kind of just easily transfer them between characters, and not just that, but also collecting items from my friends that were playing as well and being able to help them out. So that was really good. And the other thing that I found really, really good, which I didn't really experience so much in the beta, but this is just sort of something that kind of sold me on the game and is why I finally pre-purchased it and stuff. And that was that they announced the addition of ladder rune words and events in single player. I'll be playing a lot of single player, and Diablo 2 Resurrected is going to be a game that I stick with for years and years. So, because Diablo 2 is one of my favorites. But yeah, so it's things like the ladder rune words and the events in single player, the other quality of life changes like killing the Cow King no longer closing the cow level for you. So that's really good. And basically with all those changes, so now that you've got like the shared stashes, the advanced stats, the events and ladder rune words, that's all made the game kind of much more like the pluggy mod for the original Diablo 2. And I love the pluggy mod. The only real difference is that there's no infinite stash. So that's, that's not really a big deal. I mean, I would love to see an infinite stash option, but that's also something I can live without. It's kind of like I'd only really want it if I was doing a Holy Grail, and I have some ideas about that I might share in another video. But yeah, so I'm really, really stoked about all of that. Another really good thing, the visuals are just amazing. I'm still honestly wrapping my brain around just how good it looks, and I've just kind of found myself toggling back and forth between legacy mode and D2R visuals, and it's just this really it's a crazy kind of feeling because it all looks so damn gorgeous, but at the same time they've managed to kind of keep that feeling of Diablo 2. They've kept loyal to the source material, so it feels it's really like you're still playing Diablo 2, even though it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I guess that's the other part of it too. The gameplay, even with the new visuals, still feels like Diablo 2, and the characters all feel like the original characters. So it's all very it matches up in your mind how it should feel. So that's really, really cool. And another really, really cool thing is just honestly the huge nostalgia trip that I've had. That's just been like, it's kind of like the cherry on top of how good this weekend has been. I've had so much fun, especially with the multiplayer. It was really, really, really cool. I had a chance to a couple of times, had a couple of sessions with some mates, did a couple of run-throughs of Act 1 and 2, and I was just constantly having like flashbacks to years and years ago in high school when we used to jump into the IT labs, and we'd get like 8 of us just playing, and we'd manage to like smash through half of Act 1, and then we'd have to get back to our schoolwork and stuff, and that went on for a while. And then even further back than that, right into my childhood, I was remembering like, setting up LAN sessions of playing Diablo 2, and like when it first released, and I first got my first character, which was a barbarian, when I got him to Act 2, and I wanted to keep playing, but I had to go to bed, and I was like, Dad, please let me play for another half hour, come on. And then just things like that, like all these really, really fond memories that I have of Diablo 2 just kind of came flooding back, and that was just awesome. Like you can't beat that feeling, to be honest. So yeah, that's all the awesome good stuff. Now I'll talk a bit about the bad stuff. This was mostly minor issues, but there were some more serious ones, which I will get into now. But yeah, so starting off with the sort of smaller ones, there was a few kind of like minor UI issues. It was sort of things like sometimes you would click on an item and try and move it in your inventory or in your stash, but it wouldn't really register your clicks. So you would kind of be not clicking the item that you wanted to move, or you try and swap the place of an item with another item and it wouldn't move it. So you would end up in these awkward kind of situations sometimes where you haven't grabbed the item you thought you were grabbing, or you can't swap an item with another item, especially in the stash. It was very kind of clunky. It wasn't too often that it happened, but when it did happen, it kind of made the inventory management a nuisance and made it kind of start feeling pretty clunky. There was also very occasional minor graphical issues. I didn't really experience too many myself. One of my friends did, but I did notice occasionally there would be like small kind of black transparent squares appearing with some assets. I noticed it with the maggots, the baby maggots, when they'd come out of their egg. Sometimes there would be a little black square around them. And I also had the occasional issue of textures loading in a little bit too slowly. So most of the level would load and then there'd be like some rocks or something that would kind of, the texture would stream in and slowly become higher quality. That, again, not a huge issue, but just kind of a little bit immersion breaking. Some of the loading screens felt a little bit too long. That wasn't too much of an issue, but yeah, it could do with being a little bit faster, a little bit, because it just makes the whole game kind of flow a bit better. I think this is like a bit of a nitpick, this one, but for me personally, I think the default text size might be a little bit too small, because what happened to me a lot was that I would be trying to interact with an NPC and I'd be trying to click on like trade or something, but I kept accidentally clicking either like cancel or with a Kara, I kept nearly resetting my skills because I kept accidentally clicking on reset skills or whatever. But yeah, I think that basically maybe increase that size by about 10 to 20%, because the default was too small. The big text option was too big, but I think that increase of about 10 to 20% on the default size might be just right. And then another issue I had, which I think this is an issue which was something that like goes way, way, way back into Diablo. Like I feel like this was like a early Diablo 2 issue. I think I have memories of this, but basically the issue I ran into was that when I was fighting Duriel, and I only really noticed it on this one character, so maybe it was just particularly desyncy that day in terms of servers and that and loading screens. But anyway, I was having the issue where the game would load, my screen was still black, Duriel could attack me, like move towards me and attack me, and then my game would load in. So I'd come down a portal, just managed to get a portal off because he's already in my face attacking me, then I'd die again. So I kept dying and dying and dying, and it just started to feel really unfair, you know? It just starts to get you a little bit salty. And that stream, to kind of tie into the most prevalent issue, and this was by far the worst issue, which was the desync. That stream, I'd been doing a paladin, and it was just, I was getting desyncs, and then my stream died, and like it was a cursed stream. But the desync is a huge issue. It's worse than anything else I've talked about. It was the worst issue that I had during my time with the open beta, and it really needs to be fixed before release, in my opinion, because there were a lot of times where the desync would just get so bad that I would rubber band like 5 or 6 times, sometimes even like 10 times. And a lot of the time that would mean that my character would die, or I'd end up just spamming all my potions and wasting a heap of potions trying to just stay alive because I can't hit anything, can't hurt anything. I'm just getting absolutely destroyed. But yeah, that like, there was numerous times where that started to get really frustrating because it was like you'd be, you know, those inconvenient times where you happen to be like miles away from, like, you have to like trek all the way back because you've died because of some crappy desync or something. So yeah, just things like that. And it also means like there's no way I would want to seriously even consider playing a hardcore character with issues like that. Like maybe on single player, yeah, but like multiplayer, no way. Because if that's the sort of shit that's going to be happening, then it's pretty much just a matter of time before you get unfairly killed by the lag. But yeah, that was sort of all the bad stuff I had. So like I said, the desync was by far the worst thing. And I'm just very, very hopeful that they'll kind of work their asses off on that and get it kind of fixed before release. But yeah, to kind of summarize my thoughts and to kind of end on a nicer note, because I did very much enjoy the game overall. So I would say that while there are some minor UI and graphical issues with Diablo 2 Resurrected and some much more serious issues like the desync, I think that overall it's a really solid remaster and it adds a lot of quality of life to the game. And also, for the most part, visually, it does a really impressive job of making the game gorgeous while retaining both the look of the original Diablo 2 as well as how the gameplay feels. I've been really excited about D2R since I saw the announcement trailer, and now having played the beta, I'm even more hyped for the full release, which, if it isn't delayed, is only a month away. I can't wait to start building up my single player account, and I'm really looking forward to diving into some multiplayer with mates and going on some nostalgia trips. That's going to do it for this short review. Let me know what you think of D2R down in the comments, and if you played the beta, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you to the legends supporting me on Patreon. I could not be doing this stuff without you guys, and I really, really appreciate it. It means a lot. And thank you for watching. Have a good day or night, whichever it may be, and I'll see you in the next video.